You ever call out of work and the manager is like, find someone to cover your shift? Bitch, you do it? You're the manager? Where TF did this trend come from of managers getting the one calling out to find coverage? What if we're sick? Or have an emergency? You're the manager, my guy. Manage. When I quit my last job, my boss asked me who I was giving my responsibilities to. Like, dude. Id gaff. I'm leaving. You figure that shit out. Yeah, I usually say it's not in my job description, or I'm not management, I can't adjust schedules. I'm sick. I'm not coming in. Find someone to cover your shift. Already tried that, but I'm not very good at people stuff. Sorry. See you tomorrow. No. Wait. Click. 2006. I was working as a valet in a hotel casino. 19 years old. My mom calls me and tells me that my father just fucking passed out and went into a diabetic coma. Turns out, he'd had sleep apnea for years. And it was aggravating his diabetes. My father spent a week in the coma. The doctors were unsure if he was going to make it. My family started flying in from all over. I called my boss from the hospital and explained to him I wouldn't be coming back to work for a few days. You need to get someone to cover your shifts. Motherfucker. No. I called his boss and told her everything again. And told her that I'm dealing with my father potentially dying. And she immediately took him to task. I left that job a few months later. And he got fired for being a shit supervisor shortly after. My canned response to this was always, you're the manager, you'll manage. Yup. 1985. The night my dad died. Still at hospital. Called to let them know I would not be in because my dad died. I started crying when boss said I had to do my shift or find someone. Pastor of my boss's church in mine took the phone out of my hand and chewed him out. I got a week off. No pay. Oh, and I was 8 months pregnant with first child. Bosses are a-holes. I let my boss know a month in advance that I would be out of state for my shift on Christmas Eve. I got my coworker to sign up to cover that shift. Signed and approved by the manager. 1 month later, I'm being called Christmas Eve morning at my parents' house that I just had a no-call no-show. Apparently my manager signed up my coworker for 40 hours already that week and didn't want to pay overtime, so it was my responsibility to telepathically know this and find a new person to cover my shift. I got written up for this. It's to create discord among employees. Sarah will hate Jake, not the manager. If Jake is always asking her for coverage, this will also make people less inclined to be out. Like, managing is in their job title. That's literally their job to do this stuff. I once was sick with a fever. Called in. Store manager told me I had to find coverage or work anyway. Dragged my sick tushy all the way to work. Half a block away. So I could look at his face. He gave me a deer in headlights look and said, "What are you doing here? We got you covered." I told him that he didn't tell me that. He told me I had to find someone or come in. Don't play games. Plus I hope you got what I had at that time. Yes. I requested time off for this Saturday the 9th because I want to attend an event at the university I was accepted into for the fall semester. I submitted the time off request 1 month ago. And I have PTO saved up. My manager called me on Teams and said, "You need to find coverage." I replied, "No. I am using PTO. That isn't what I have to do." The man was too stunned to speak. He then said, "Okay. I guess the manager on duty will have to cover your shift that you agreed to work when you took the job." I am using PTO. My hard-earned paid time off, motherfucker. I am bettering myself and you made me use PTO. Do your job. This just happened to me. I loved my job until this moment. I was attacked by a dog and had a breakdown and they were like, "Can you at least come in for a few hours?" Then, well, there is no one to cover your shift. Even though there definitely was a way and I figured it out for them. In the middle of everything happening, they still have yet to ask me how I'm doing since the incident. Really opened my eyes. One time I had a splitting migraine and could barely function. I was supposed to be the manager on duty, but another keyholder and manager on duty person was there too. I was the scheduled one for manager, but we were equally qualified. I texted the store manager that I needed to leave. He said no. I say Carol was there. He still said no unless I got another person in. Any other person. Carol was good to go for covering me. So I emailed the district HR manager that I couldn't keep my eyes open because I was in so much pain and I wasn't allowed to go home. He emailed back to go home immediately and that I wasn't allowed to be forced to stay when sick. So I did. I once had a fever of 104. Couldn't even walk and was told that I had to cover my shift before I could go to the ER. My dumbass did it too. I was in my VER6 early 20s and didn't know better. The cool thing was that I ended up having a double kidney infection and the doctor said I couldn't work for a whole week. Of course I was told to cover those shifts as well. After a couple of days, I was feeling much better, so I got a new job. Giving my notice is so exciting. Of course my boss accused me of taking my illness to go job hunting. I told him he and the way he treated me was why I was leaving. About a year after I left, dude ended up getting arrested and fired for trying to hook up with a 17-year-old. He was in his 40s and married with children. Disgusting. Had it happened to me once in 2012, had to go to the ER. Realized I wasn't going to make into work. So I called to let them know I was in the local ER but being transferred an hour away to a bigger trauma hospital. The manager tells me it's my responsibility to find coverage. I was literally being loaded on an ambulance to go be seen by a trauma team. I was fired from that job later in the week. See, I was missing so much work I was still in the hospital. Yep, for a vacation I asked off for 6 months in advance. I quit shortly after for different reasons. As a manager, I thought this was the norm. I had a worker out one night, and the only other worker available could only cover an hour, who I called and asked if they were willing to do so. They covered that 1 hour and I covered the remainder of the shift. That's the point of being management and the higher salary. Responsibility. It's literally the job description. Are you asking me to work while off the clock? Reminds me of the time my manager scheduled me to work the wrong day of the week. I made her aware of her mistake and she still had the audacity to ask me to find someone to cover for a shift I was never even supposed to work. I told her that it's not my job to fix her mistakes. Get someone to cover. Lol. I don't have anyone's contact info. People at work are not friends.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.